I could think of two reasons why people won't go and pick up this book. One, you already know how this story ends, and two, you know that this story can't really go on. And I'd like to refute those two apprehensions, but more on that later. Welcome to a review of The Star Won't Go Out by Esther Earl, and also inserts by Esther Earl's friends as well as family. The Star Won't Go Out is a non-fiction piece. So this book includes a lot of different sort of mediums of how to tell the story. In the beginning you have the introduction written by John Green, and then you have Lori and Wayne Earl, her parents, just writing their accounts of her, and then you see pictures. Oh, there's a lot of pictures. You see pictures like this accompanying the text, and it's really incredibly effective in sort of painting this girl named Earl as more than a character in her own book, but a person in real life. Most of the entries within this book are diary entries written by Esther herself. How to begin talking about Esther Earl? I guess the only way to really begin talking about Esther Earl is from my own perspective and from how I learned about her. I learned about Esther Earl through John Green. The first time I had ever seen Esther was in John Green's video. In reading this, I found out that that was her Make-A-Wish. She wanted all her internet friends, all the friends that she's made over time, to come and visit her. John Green pulled out his camera and did what he did best. He vlogged it. So that was my first encounter with Esther. Of course, the first thing I noticed was the breathing equipment she was wearing, very similar to Hazel in The Fault in Our Stars. Upon doing my research and trying to find out who this girl was and how she was related to John Green, I found out she had thyroid cancer from the age of 12. And then the next thing I heard about Esther was a couple months later, and found out that she died. At that point I was really sad, but I was the kind of distant sad. Admittedly, I didn't really think about Esther Earl very much unless John or Hank talked about her. And that's where this book comes into play. I bought this book right when I heard about it. Then I read it and it changed me. I cried. For the first time ever in reading a book, I cried. I cried not hard, it was just a very silent tears running down my face. But yeah, I've never cried in a book before, and I cried in this one. This book pretty much covers a lot of Esther Earl's life from the time she was really young to the time she died in August of 2010. I guess to use fiction terminology, you get really invested in Esther throughout reading this book. She was an incredibly eloquent and incredibly insightful young lady. You see how she grows up after learning she has cancer at the age of 12, and you see her falling into sort of a low in her life where she's not really living. And once she discovers Catitude, everything is just so much better for her. She's finally doing things that she wants to be doing, and her life, though short, is fulfilled. The thing about this book is that it doesn't end when Esther ends. It keeps going. It keeps talking about her effect on everyone. And I think the main thing about this book is that it shows the impact of Esther even if she's not physically here. By the end of this book, I'm so touched by Esther. I feel like Esther and I had become friends by the end of it. And I think that's the whole point of this book, that even after her death, her story does live on, it does go on, it does live within the people who read her story and the people who act out what she wanted to do in her life. Even though this story doesn't have your typical romance, or it doesn't have your typical plot, or doesn't have your typical redeeming factor, it is a story about life. And that's sometimes really rare in books. And I refute the idea that the story of Esther Earl can't live on and can't go on and can't keep growing and becoming. So a few first impressions of this book. I really like the color contrasts and how the color contrasts were chosen because of her eyeshadow within these pictures. I noticed that just now. and I'm excited. Also, this is a pretty long book. It is about 430 pages. It includes a lot of different mediums, so it changes perspectives quite a bit, but I didn't really mind it. In fact, I thought it was really well compiled and well put together and told her story so frickin' well. So if you want to continue on this journey of Esther Earl, please pick up this book and please look into her YouTube videos and her story online, because she is definitely a part of the internet. So yeah, I really hope you go ahead and check that out. I'll leave a link below on where you could purchase this. I'm going to put this book down because it is a little bit heavy and I did hold it up for the entirety of this video. My arm is going to be sore tomorrow. Hope you're happy, John Green. I'll see you later with another video. Bye.